Everyone, and thank you for joining my YouTube channel. At this time, I wanted to talk about my 100-pound plus weight loss journey. As some of you may know, I just came back from my European trip where I discovered as I came back I lost over 10 pounds. And much to my surprise, I had actually thought I put on a couple pounds at that particular time. Before I went on that trip in July 5th, 2023, I had about 95 pounds off since 2011. So I said once I get to that 100-pound mark, I will absolutely do a video on this. So I would like to talk about how I did it so I can encourage all of you how to do this. So in 2011, I had hit my brick wall, so to speak. I was in my early my early 30s, and I had pretty much hit my brick wall. I had owned a business for 6 years at that point, and business had a lot of ups and downs, and I just wasn't very disciplined in a lot of areas of my life at the time. And one of the main areas of my life that I wasn't disciplined in was my diet. I was drinking beer a lot, and I was just eating a lot of carbs, pastas, pizzas, wings, things like that. And things just naturally got out of hand. I was not always overweight. I was kind of up and down throughout my youth and childhood, but I always maintained a pretty decent weight, but especially throughout my construction career. But when I got into business, obviously things got harder and harder and harder. And then as my business faced some real challenges during the 2008 collapse, I kind of hit a brick wall, and I let myself go. And I was drinking a lot and dieting very poorly, and I ended up ballooning up to 282 pounds, which a good weight for me at that time was probably like 220. But things got out of hand. I don't know how it did get out of hand, but it did. But I hit my brick wall in 2011. Shortly after that time, after I dissolved my first business, and I took a 1.5-year sabbatical, and I decided enough was enough, and I needed to make some changes in my life and my environment. And I took a 6-month sabbatical, and I actually went to Barcelona, Spain, as I mentioned in some of my previous videos. And at that point, I decided I want to turn over a new leaf, and I started changing my diet, walking. I spent a lot of time walking in that city, and just made some changes. I started cutting down on drinking a little bit, and one thing led to another. I kind of got the process going. When I was 282 pounds, at that point, when I got back to the United States in December of 2011, I went down to 261 pounds, which actually at that time, it was like 20, 21 pounds. It was a good start. Felt a little bit better, but I still had a lot of work to do. So at that point, I just decided to put it into another gear. I just decided enough was enough, and I started making some changes in my diet. I definitely started cutting out the drinking. That was a big one. I was a big beer drinker, so obviously a lot of carbs and calories in beers we know, and sugar, so I just decided to cut out on drinking. That was a big step, and my diet wasn't great at the time. It wasn't perfect, but it got a little bit better. Started just eating some more balanced meals, and got a little more exercise in my life, and eventually started going to a gym and doing some standard stuff, nothing too exotic, but just elliptical, some light weights, some things like that, some sit-ups. And over time I got down to about 240, eventually down to like 220, and I started putting into a different gear, started stepping up my workout routines at the gym, doing some more weight training, and started really focusing on the diet, and eventually got myself down to a really good weight around 202 pounds. For about 8 to 10 years, I hovered at that range, about 202 between 210. I hovered at that range for a long time, and I always wanted to take it to the next gear. At that point, I was down about 80 pounds, which is still a lot. It was really good, but I still hadn't hit that 100 mark. So I hovered at that hovered at that weight, I should say, for a long time. Things didn't really start to change till about 3 years ago. I met a good friend of mine here in the neighborhood. I bought some workout equipment up from him, and he ended up just kind of giving me a great pep talk about getting in shape. And he was a real fit guy. He had muscles, and he had all kinds of things going for himself. And he was very disciplined, and I kind of decided, I want to take this to the next level. That's where I started investing in some workout equipment, and where you see me sitting in my home garage right now. I started investing in some workout equipment, and just started taking it to a different level. But I think the most important thing was my diet. I started taking a hard look at my diet. My friend, Mark, started going through my diet with me, and I just started realizing that I had way too much bad food in my diet. And some of those were, I was eating a lot of Triscuits, I was eating a lot of yogurt, I was eating a lot of rice pudding, things like that, little ice cream bars, and I was eating those Perfect bars, which are those snack bars. They're really tasty. They have a lot of protein, but unfortunately they have a lot of sugar. Some of them have up to 22 grams of sugar. I was eating sometimes 2-3 of those a day, which is obviously very not good. So I started getting rid of those 4 or 5 items right off the bat. I was drinking standard Gatorades instead of the Gatorade Zeros, and I just, within about a week, I started getting rid of all those diets, all those things. So that's Triscuits, rice pudding, yogurt, the Perfect bars, and the Gatorades and things like that, and I started noticing instant changes. Within about 2-3 weeks, my taste started getting better. I started losing weight just like a pound by pound, just getting rid of the sugar. I didn't put sugar in my coffee, looking for substitutes all over the place, switching to anything sugar-free as much as I could, and that really helped take the weight off a lot. I lost about another 10-12 pounds just by doing that. At that point, I was changing all my clothes, and going from 34s pants to 32s, and I started noticing a difference. But I still hadn't quite got there. I hovered at that 90-pound range, and about a year ago, and then I started really hitting the weights harder. You see here, I'm in my gym. I invested big time. I got a new home here, and I got a 2-car garage. You see this heater behind me. I have a space heater here that helps a lot. I insulated my entire garage, started investing in all the equipment, and just started really taking it to the next level. I got even more sugar out of my diet, stopped eating things like barbecue sauce, ketchup, just even condiments. Started just taking a harder look, buying substitutes where I could. There is now sugar-free ketchup. They do make sugar-free barbecue sauce. Every place I could cut a corner, I started doing it. Even my protein powder, which I use for my post-workout, they do make an 80-20 protein powder, which means there's 20% junk and 80% good. I even went to a 90-10, which means there's no white sugars in there and things like that. I don't know the exact science, but I know there's a cleaner protein, which if you want to get good clean protein, go to myprotein.com and you can order yourself cleaner protein, which will even help take even more sugar off out of your diet. Things like almond milk. I went to the unsweetened almond milk, which is only 30 calories per serving. Just every little change I could make. Even certain peanut butters I was buying, I was putting in my milkshakes, is changing everything I could. One of the things you need to do to lose the weight is to change your diet, and most importantly, stop taking in as much sugar as you're taking in. The sugar is a killer. As we know, it turns to fat, and it's so hard to burn off. Anything in your diet, cookies, snacks, even just sugar itself, you got to start getting rid of it. That was a big plus for me, and the weight just started falling off. When I got down to about that 90 range, started really hitting the weights harder, getting more and more disciplined. I started adding jogging, running, road cycling to my diet, or to my exercise, I should say. Really started picking up the jogging and running. I used to have a hard time running, even doing a mile. Now I can do about 4 or 5 miles, which is exciting, and I've been doing as much jogging as I can. If you can incorporate that into your weekly routine, even 2, 3, 4 times a week, that would be great. Try to run for at least 20-30 minutes at a time. Go at a good pace for yourself. But the main thing is the sugar and then the working out. You got to be disciplined. You should, if you're going to get into weight training, because at some point once you lose the weight, you want to reshape your body. I'm starting to notice a difference in my body. I'm starting to develop some muscle tone and some structure in different areas of my body. And I'm going to eventually do more and more videos on how to do working out and how to change your body through weight training. But you got to start taking it to the next level. And getting that extra 10, 12 pounds was hard to do. But start with the weight training, bench pressing, leg squats, work on your legs, work on your arms. Try to do a full balance workout, do as much as you can. You see I'm behind my cable machine here. If you have it within your budget to invest in your own equipment or join a gym. I know there's even $10 gyms in the United States and North America these days, and maybe even some parts of Europe or wherever you might be in the world. Try to find a cheap gym. If not, make do with what you can, but you got to get some physical workout in, and that will help take it down. What I can tell you the most is, people, you have to really want it. You have to really want it. If you're an overweight person, I know it's a very sensitive topic, whether you're 50 pounds overweight, 80 pounds overweight, 100 pounds overweight, even 100 more. There is hope. There is hope for you. I'm living proof. Okay? The thing of it is, you have to really want it, and you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't want to live like this anymore, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I took the initiative. And that's what it takes. It takes the first step, and you have to do that. The really, really good news about being overweight, if there is any good news, is that a person who's overweight can lose a lot of weight very, very, very fast. If you put your mind to it, you can drop 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds in a matter of, some cases, even 6 months, which a person like myself, who's actually in shape these days, I couldn't lose 10 pounds from this point on in 6 months if I tried, because I've already got my big weight down. Whereas a person who's very overweight can lose that kind of weight pretty fast. So that's the exciting, encouraging news, that the bigger you are, the quicker it will come off. And you can have dramatic results in sometimes even 3 to 6 to 8 months or a year. This doesn't take as long as you think, and your life can be transformed within a matter of 6 months to a year. I promise you, if you put your mind to it. But you have to be disciplined, okay? You have to change your diet, go through your cabinets, go through your fridge, start getting rid of all the junk, the condiments, the sugary condiments, the snacks, learn how to substitute any food you can, okay? The snacks are a killer, the chips, the chocolate, the sweets, all that stuff it'll kill your diet. Oreo cookies, chips, that stuff takes forever to burn off. I had to start making tough changes. Now that doesn't mean you have to suffer and eat terrible food or bad tasting food. It just means you have to make the necessary substitutes. I'm going to show you a couple of things right here. You see these cookies or crackers I got here. These are called by Simple Mills. These are almond flour crackers. These are excellent. They're not the healthiest, but they're not as bad. Look at some of these. The label here, 18 grams of carbs per 17 crackers, only 8 grams of fat, only 2 small grams, actually no sugar added, 3 grams of protein. I mean, these aren't too bad. I mean, these will satisfy your cravings, your hunger. I take a handful of these and I'm set. Maybe digestive biscuits, which you can get at almost any store in the world. Digestive biscuits are high in fiber. If you're having hunger cravings, eat the digestive biscuits, 4 or 5, even 6 of those will set you straight. Get rid of any sugar in your coffee or your tea. Start looking for substitutes to condiments, as I said. If you have almond milk, go with the unsweetened kind, and just start making those substitutes. Get rid of sugar at all possible costs. If you're going to take sugar, take natural sugar, like stuff you get from fruit, like bananas or apples. I mean, that type of natural sugar is a lot better for you. If you want to eat cleaner protein, go to myprotein.com and get the cleaner protein if you have the budget for that. But most importantly, people, you have to understand that you have to really want it, and it's a discipline. It's not intuitive. Waking up and using the bathroom is intuitive. Waking up and doing 50 sit-ups is a discipline. It's not intuitive. So identify what is intuitive in your life and identify what is a discipline. This is a discipline. The weight just isn't going to come off for no reason. It's only going to come off because you make it come off, okay? Just get it in your mind that you want to do this and that you will do this. And I promise you, the great, most encouraging news is if you're very overweight, that weight can come off so fast. You can walk into your next major event in 3 months from now and people will notice a huge difference. And that is very exciting. Once you get that first 10, 12, 15 pounds off, you will feel so excited. And it'll turn into a snowball effect. Just start getting excited. Your pant size are going to go down. You're going to start wanting to change your clothes. And there's nothing more exciting than to have to go out and buy better clothes because the clothes you have are too big. And that's a great reward for yourself. Reward yourself in the process. Okay? You just get excited about it. Join a gym, create a home gym, or if you don't have those means, at least start jogging, doing push-ups, sit-ups. There's things you can do for absolutely for free. Even use some bands. The band exercises are pretty cheap. You can buy those bands for some cases only $10 or $20 per bands. There's a lot of free things on YouTube you can use for the band exercises. You can do all this pretty much for cheap, if not free. Now, ideally, if you have a budget, you want to invest in workout equipment or go to a gym. Okay? You have to make this decision to take this weight off and start with diet and then supplement it with working out. But mostly it's the diet, okay? I'm living proof that a person could apply their mind to it and lose 100 pounds plus. I'm probably up to about 105 pounds off at this stage. I tell you, it feels great. It's been worth every minute of it. It's worth every effort, okay? I now wear a size 30 pants and 32. I wear a size small and medium shirts. I feel better. I look better. I shop better. It's exciting to go to a mall and put on clothes because you feel good about yourself. And I know deep inside every one of us wants to feel that way. So people just understand that this could all be done, but you have to apply yourself, and it's not going to happen itself, okay, on its own. You have to start the process. And the last thing I want to talk about is conditioning. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I made over the last 10, 11 years is that I would go on like diets or health kicks or workout kicks. Folks, nothing is a kick or a streak. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, it's summer, I'm going to work out, and then go hibernate for the winter. One thing I've done the last 2 years is I've been conditioning myself. And what I mean by that is I don't let the fact that just because winter is here that I start slowing down. If that means you have to start dressing differently, investing in hats, scarves, you know, certain workout gear to run outside in the winter, then you have to do it. If I have to come out to my home gym and turn that heater on 10, 15 minutes before I work out, then that's what I got to do. If I have to put my warm clothes on to walk out to the garage, that's what I have to do. You know, don't just say, well, it's football season, I'm going to order pizza. No, like, don't just let seasonal things like family parties, Christmas parties, don't just cave in. You know what I do? I bring my own cooler. I look a little weird, but I bring my own cooler to family parties. I have a cooler. I have the little ice chiller. I bring my own drinks. I bring my own substitutes. I bring my own snacks. You don't have to bring the full meal or anything, but you can bring the little snacks when your parties are going to serve pie and ice cream. Well, you just grab your little snacks. You know, bring your little substitutes and don't worry about what people think. Just start conditioning, understanding that it's a year-long process. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and that you have to do everything you have to do to fight this battle and stack the deck in your favor. It means bringing a cooler, bringing your substitutes to parties. Don't cave in. Don't just say it's winter, I'm going to slow down. Oh, it's football season, I'm going to pig out. Oh, it's Christmas, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. That's what I did in the past. That's why I always stayed at that same weight. The last 2 years I've been pushing through and pushing through and pushing through and not letting any external environments such as holidays or weather or time of year or seasonal issues get in my way. I'm sticking to this all 52 weeks of the year. Now, there could be some small exceptions, a wedding or, you know, something, you know, you have a hospital stay, anything could obviously come up and happen. And sometimes you just have to have little setbacks, but that's the thing. Don't let setbacks bring you down. So many people have a little diet setback or workout setback and they just go off the wagon. That's where everyone falls off. You have to push through. You have to push through. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're going to have an injury. You're going to have a health problem. Some things are going to naturally come up, but you have to push through. I had COVID 3 different times the last few years, and I didn't work out sometimes for 2 to 4 to 6 weeks each time those happen. But I always push through. I've had a couple small injuries. I've had a left side inguinal hernia happen. I had a significant foot injury when I crashed my bike in Spain a few years ago. I've had a couple other small injuries in between. I mean, sometimes it's going to happen, but I always found my way to get at least a small workout in. If it's 20 minutes on elliptical, a slight upper body workout, a light jog, longer walking, whatever that might be. I didn't let myself go because of those external things that happened to me. You have to push through, you have to have a vision, you have to be clear, and you have to want this. You have to want it so badly. Don't make the excuses. Don't make seasonal or sports or whatever excuses. Bring a cooler, bring your substitutes, and push through. Dress properly wherever you're at in the world. I'm from Chicago. We have very cold winters. I used to let that be an excuse for me to hibernate and not work out. Not anymore. I have heaters. I have an insulated garage. I have new lighting in here. I've set myself up for the wind. This is my haven in the winter. I like coming in here more than I like being in my house in the winter. So what does that tell you? Because I've learned the conditioning battle, okay? Now, that is the point. Do not make the excuses. You will and can get the results if you want them. Change your diet. Start working out. Start finding the substitutes. And don't make excuses, and understand that you have to condition yourself to push through and win this battle. Remember, it's a 52-week-a-year battle, but you can do it. You can do it, I promise. And I'm going to list some of the substitutes in the description in this video. I know you can do this, people. I know deep inside you want to be in the best shape of your life. All of us do. We all want to look better in clothes. We want to attract people in our lives, and we want to have more successful lives. And I think it starts by feeling good about yourself, and it starts by looking good. And that's where this all starts. And believe me, the rewards are amazing. And you will never, ever regret putting in this type of effort to get into the best shape of your life. So that's my message for today. I hope you got something from this. I'm going to continue to put a lot more out there. But in everything you do, it says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, in all things you do, do it for the glory of God. We are made in the image of God. Our bodies were bought at a purchase, and God wants us to honor our bodies that way and present us the image of God to everyone we see and do. So keep that in mind. Stay in prayer, and God will support you in this journey. So thank you all. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best on your journey. Thank you all, and God bless.